Hi everyone. I just wanted to quickly do this video to support you that is preparing for an interview very soon. I understand you have interviews coming up in a few days, and just to highlight a few points that you can quickly use to prepare for your interview. I'll make this short and sweet, hopefully, so it can help you quickly prepare. This is not the very elaborate versions. I have a few ones on Facebook and some probably on my YouTube channel, but this one is for you that you have just 28 to 48 hours to prepare for an interview. Okay. First thing you want to do, number one, read up your CV and think about telling the story behind each achievement that you have listed on your CV. I mean, you got an interview because your CV is updated and looks good to the recruiter, or you got a recommendation and they looked at your CV. So, what you need to do next is to tell the story behind every claim that you made on your CV. You need to sit down and read your CV like a Bible. Read line by line. Remember what happened when you highlighted the achievements that you wrote there. Or if you didn't have achievements on your CV, you're talking about job descriptions or highlight of your responsibilities. Think about each of the lines and think of the story you would tell when you highlight each of those lines or sentences or statements on your CV. Number two, prepare to answer the question, tell me about yourself. That question comes in different ways. It could be, oh, what have you been up to? It could be, well, introduce yourself, introduce yourself. It comes in different ways, but it's still around the same. Tell me about yourself. When you're answering that question, you want to tell the interviewers, the panelists about yourself from the point of view of who you are, your value system, your work culture, or your ways of working, your value system from a work-oriented perspective, in the spirit of the job you're hunting for, right? And then you will tell the story of your journey. Considering this is your first interview, you want to try to tell the story of your career journey and introducing yourself. This is not the time for, hey, my name is Faith and I'm number 5 among 6 children of my family. I love Eba and Amala. No, that's not the time. It is the time to tell the story of who you are, what you stand for as a professional, and what drives you, the story of your career, how your journey started, and how you got to where you are. Okay, so I'll be saying things like, it's nice to be here. I appreciate the opportunity you gave me for this interview. And my name is Faith Akintunde, as you already see on the CV. And I'm one person known for professionalism, hard work, excellence. If you are looking for someone that would do the work wholeheartedly with deep passion and bringing the value to the table in quick succession, that's me you're looking for. I'm that person that gets your job done with minimal supervision, that takes ownership of the job as if it's mine. I'm that person that delivered XYZ results with minimal resources under intense circumstances and pressure. You know, that kind of a situation or that kind of a story. And then you will say, hey, I started my career as an investment banker and transferred into HR. And from 2000 and XYZ, I have achieved XYZ and XYZ at this role, at that role. When I moved over to this organization, these were the things I did. We made sure that we delivered um, employee engagement at a plus 10 basis point. You know, you want to start telling your story as you introduce yourself, but start with what you stand for, what your value system is, because without your own person, what you stand for, your career story is just a journey, right? So yes, you can tell your career story, but you should add to it or start with your personal value system, your professional value system, okay? And you're going into that room with not pride, but the confidence that you're coming to solve a problem. Yes, you might currently not be employed or engaged or not doing a job that you are that you can quote unquote be proud of, but as a person, you have confidence that you are going to add value to this company. When they hire you, they've hired the right person. You have great work culture. So you go into that room with that confidence. Okay. Number 3, read the job description. Read the job description over and over and over again, just the same way you will read your CV. And when you read the job description, you read it line by line, thinking about what is in the mind of the recruiter, or sorry, the hiring manager when they wrote the CV. You think about each line from the technical perspective of what that job stands for. So some sentences might mean 4 and 5 different things for that organization. So you need to read the job description and think of what question can they ask me along this line, and then what response will I give when they ask me a question here, a question there. So it's a lot of thinking and a lot of documenting your thought process on paper while you're preparing. Take a journal, write your thoughts on the table. It doesn't have to be smooth, but just document your thoughts. It will really help to sharpen your thought process. Read the job description, think about the job description. If the JD was not shared, go online and search. There's a lot of job descriptions close to the type of role that you're being recruited for. If you have 24 hours to your interview, I don't know, and I don't think that's the best time to start asking the recruiter for the JD. They didn't share it. Probably because you are in a situation where you're looking to get hired, right? I mean, very soon. You don't want to push too hard on the recruiter. Yes, there are certain things they're supposed to do, but this is not the time to correct them. Say, hey, you should have given me a job description earlier on. Yes, they should have. But today, if they haven't, you can graciously ask, but I'm not sure how much impact a 24 hours notice is going to make. Okay. Number 4, if you can get someone to mock interview you, please make sure you need someone to interview you ahead of that interview itself. If you don't get, use a mirror. Place a mirror in front of yourself, ask the question in your mind, and respond to the question in the mirror. One of the things I usually do is record myself. I would record myself responding to the question the recruiter asked me, and I will watch it and try and replay it and redo it again, right? That can actually help. Record yourself. It builds your confidence. It helps you see what you look like in the interview, okay? That's number 4. So mock interview, get someone to listen to you or do a video of yourself and listen to yourself. That would really help you to get ready. Number 5, picture yourself in the work environment while you're preparing for the interview. Picture yourself. It's going to do a lot for your mindset. Picture yourself in that organization. Picture yourself in that department. Picture yourself solving problems in that organization. It's not much about you speaking to the recruiter or the interviewer or the panelist about you picturing yourself. It is more about you convincing yourself internally about your readiness for that role. So picture yourself in your mind doing that job. Picture yourself in that organization. How will you approach XYZ situations, right? In that same spirit of picturing yourself, think about prevailing circumstances or questions or contemporary issues in that profession. It might be a question and it may not, but what it does for you is prepare your mind and places you in the position of a consultant who is here to solve problems. You don't really need to tell them, say, I'm a problem solver, but your thought process will help channel your mind in that way if you position yourself in that role first in your mind before you get into the interview room. It sort of helps you to assume the position of authority in that space. Whether you have 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years experience, it is the same mindset, it is the same confidence. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6, research the report structure in the company for that role. So you need to find out who you're going to be reporting to if you get a job, who are going to be your contemporaries or your peers. You need to research them, use LinkedIn. And one of the ways you can do that is, hey, you know the job, go search the job. You will find who has done the job in the organization. So search for the job title and the organization. You may not know the name of the person. If you know the name of your who your hiring manager is going to be, search that person on LinkedIn, check the people connected to that person working in the company. You would find positions, job titles like that. You can also search LinkedIn to find people that have worked there, and they can give you insight about the business process, right? When you check all of that, it will help your mind to get integrated into the kind of people, the interfaces, the interdependencies that would exist. So I take an example. If you're going to be a supply chain person, your interdependencies would be production people, production manager. As a supply chain person, you're either raw material goods buyer or packing material, or it could be raw and packaging together. You could also be a planner, right? So it depends on the structure of the company. So you're going to be looking at who are the persons that you interface with, the salespeople, if the company has salespeople, the production people, the finished goods raw materials people, depending on the role you're going to be taking. So you will look at interdependencies, search the people out on LinkedIn, prepare your mind on how they work. If you can read up the things they say, if you find any, if not, get someone that has worked there before that could also give you some insight into that. That's number 6. Number 7, when you are asked about your first 90 days, think about getting to learn the ways of working, getting to meet people and getting to know them, getting to know the business priorities and how you can contribute before proposing changes. That's a very big one. A lot of us want to show people that we know. We want to show your hiring manager or your potential employer that you know so much. Yes, you can show them. But hey, in the interview, you need to let them also know that you are open to learning, you're open to getting to understand how things work before you can start thinking of changing things or adding value or improving things, right? Especially if your role is going to be a senior person's role or a manager or a team leader role, you would also need to show them how you're going to learn the people, how you're going to try and understand the people before you come into making changes or proposing changes into the organization. A few bonus points, right? You'll be given an opportunity. Let's make that number 8 or bonus. You'll be given an opportunity to ask questions. What is your question going to be? You need to think about that. You don't want to ask questions that makes you look like you have not done your research. So you're not going to be asking questions around core values. What are your priorities? If you are trying to work in a company that already has public information, go and find out about their goals. Go find out about the priorities. Today, there's a lot of improvements that businesses need to make now to become more profitable. That's common to every business. So you can be asking questions around, hey, I know that this is where this business is where we are in terms of volume. I know we did this much, we did this more revenue last year or this last quarter, right? And I'm just curious to know what are the top priorities in this next quarter, for example. Just an example, right? You want to be asking questions around, hey, what keeps your hiring manager awake at night? These are very important questions. What keeps them driven? Business terrain is getting tougher and tougher today. What keeps them driven? Or you can even ask some technical questions. And when you're asking technical questions, for example, you want to set the foundation for what you know. So it doesn't look like you are ignorant, right? So if I'm going to be asking a technical question, in my space, I'm HR. So if I want to be asking questions around how people respond to surveys, or how the performance management system has impacted the performance of the people, right? That's a technical question, but I don't also want to show myself as if I'm not informed. So I would have researched. I would say, hey, I'm aware that this business uses Balance Scorecard, for example, for performance management system. I'm just curious to know what are the improvement opportunities that have been identified so far, just to prepare myself on how I can add value when I get on board, right? So you are not asking a question like, hey, I don't know anything about this. You have something. So you set the foundation and then you ask an additional question that say, hey, I'm aware, but can you elevate my level of knowledge or my level of awareness? So you're striking a balance between wanting to know and at the same time you're not ignorant. Okay. You can put in the comment section if you still have more questions and areas I could cover in preparing for interviews or any other aspects that I think you think I can be of help. I'm wishing you luck as you go for this interview. I wish you God's favor. I wish you confidence. I wish you great success and positive outcome when you go. Good luck.